Good morning, everyone. It is More Good News Wednesday. We had a little IG live crash. I don't know if it was Matt Hyman that did it, but something did it to us. We're back on track. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties with IG, but welcome everyone. Karen, Jesse, Keaton, Colleen, welcome everyone. Rob Deerdeck in the house. Jakey, bakey, let's see how long it takes you to get into the house. I've been here for 5 minutes already. Where are you? What's going on? All right, let's pin this up here. Anyone that want anything from me, I give 5 minutes to everyone. If you want 5 minutes of my time, email me, david@dmeltzer.com. I'm happy to be of service or value to you. Go ahead, email me if you like 5 minutes of my time. Hey, Zeus, good to see you. Patrick Henry, very nice to see you. We're looking, there he is. I'm going to view your request, my friend. Back, good news Wednesday. It's more good news. IG's working, and so are we. Everybody in the activity that we get paid for. There he
David,
is.
nice to meet you.
Good to meet you. Thank
Hello.
you for your patience.
I'm so pleased that worked out. We couldn't. I felt like you were testing me and how I could be of service.
Exactly. I feel like I'm tested on persistence every time that happens. I remember Ryan Sirhant and I tried like 5 times, and both of us kept going. And I said, "This is the best IG live I've ever done because it shows why Ryan Sirhant and myself what it takes in order to get stuff done." And you certainly as well. In your network, it's not an easy space to be. The game day. You guys are what, over 32 million weekly impressions. You guys are killing it. But like everything else, you didn't start out an overnight success. You had to build an audience, build a community. What are some of the things that you're doing that is building so quickly such a great community?
Well, I think that one of the two questions I saw you asked in an Instagram post a couple days ago was how can I be of service, but then also do you know anybody who could help me? And I think the second piece there, the first piece is interesting to us on social media because if you're not of service to your constituents, you're going to be turned off so quickly, right? When you and I grew up, there were stone tablets, and then eventually the novel came out, and then they finally put pictures into magazines, and you and I were motivated to read. But now that things come a bit quicker and faster in the media world, you got to be of service to everybody all the time, always on. And I think the main piece then is to build a business with that culture in it. And if it has that culture in it of how can I be of service, whether that's the quickest post at kickoff, the most insightful piece of information, in terms of winning, losing, where the edge is in the game, or just insight on who's hot, who's not, and that could be player conditions, it could be coach, manager, ball boy, inflated ball, not inflated ball. I mean, the edges are at the margins, right? In terms of professional sport, and helping people manage their team, or look smart at the sports bar, or comment on Instagram, or place a bet. If we can help give people, be of service, that's really what we're creating a media business about. And I've done one before that was really, it's very, very similar, demand driven media company. It was more around Premier League.
Oh no, him or me. All right, he's freezing up a little bit, but it was more in the Premier League. And looking at that, it's More Good News Wednesday. We have Matt Hyman. If you haven't checked out the game day, you're missing out on some of the cutting edge information, the real time information to get the best picks and to enjoy yourself. We got the game day right here. Maybe I have to reload him in. He left. He'll reload in. More Good News Wednesday. We got more good news coming from Matt. That's not a problem. So looking forward to having Matt back here as well. If you haven't checked out the game day, one of my favorite, Take the Points and Ride With, is a great one. Jordan Schultz, a good friend of mine as well. Check him out, and Katie Mox as well. Matt is an extraordinary entrepreneur. Like I said, it's not his first rodeo. He has a Cocoon Club, the luxury bag rental service, which I think is a great business. But if I can get him back on here, I want to figure out how he built that up, because to go from no audience to millions and millions of weekly impressions and followers, it takes quality content, understanding your spectrum, as well as, like he said, asking for help, and wanted to know how we could be of service or value to Matt and ask him for help as well. We're going to join him back in here. We got a funky fresh day on Wednesday, More Good News Wednesday. It's not hump day, it's More Good News Day. There he is. What's going on, Matt? You were saying this isn't your first rodeo. You've done it before. Oh my goodness. We got connectivity issues. Is it on my side or their side? Mike. All right. You're good. All right. Well, we will get better connectivity with Matt. Oh, there he is. Hey, man. All right. Matt, you said you hadn't done it before. I was just curious. Oh. All right. Get back on here. Anyway, more good news on Wednesday. We're going to have Max. I'm really interested in how he built that audience and what he's doing. Also with the luxury handbag rental service, Cocoon Club. He is a pure entrepreneur. Not, like I said, his first rodeo. He is doing well, and we'll continue to try to accept him. It's more good news Wednesday. Let's see if I can take a question while we're trying to get people to join us. Do you allocate time per day to practice refocusing? Every day I practice refocusing. The mind can only focus in on one thing at a time. Therefore, utilizing the part of the brain, the muscle of the brain, that allows you to go back and forth and gather data from multiple data sources in order to effectuate what I call the refocus, which in the man-made construct of time appears as multitasking, but it's not multitasking. You cannot focus in on two things at a time. You can only do one thing at a time. So work on the muscle to gather enough data between the things that you want to do so it appears in the man-made construct of time as multitasking. But what does it do for you? It allows you to be productive. It allows you to be accessible. It allows you to be gracious. Productivity is the value that you provide to others. Accessible is how many people you're accessible to. And what are you accessing? What are you receiving? What are you asking for? Matt Hyman and I at the Game Day NFL, we were just discussing not only being of service, but asking for help. And there he is. He found a stable connectivity. Matt is back. You were talking about the Premier League, that this wasn't just your first time, your first rodeo in building a community.
Yeah, I think the idea is to listen to that audience and to build up fan bases that actually support you and bring knowledge and build up, what is really a powerful network of informed constituents. For us was kind of that winning formula. And I think that, I can see your playbook and how you're doing very similar, and bringing in, powerful people, like-minded individuals, different points of view, but bluntly experts in each and every field, whether you agree with them or not.
Yeah, and it's great to share because my, for me, my mission is to allow us to appreciate the differences. Instead of creating a unilateral spectrum of information that just is something that we agree with all the time, I want people to say, hey, I like that Matt guy, but I don't think Justin Herbert's the best quarterback in the league, and I'm not betting on the Chargers this week.
That's right.
That's okay, and I think it. And in the same respect, if we treated other issues like we do sports, where people are fans of what they believe in or who they believe in, but yet they're appreciating the other fans for loving Tom Brady or whoever it is. We just don't do that in business or politics or other things that are going on today. So I think, as always, sports is leading the way of how to unite the world, not just in comparison and competition, but in appreciation, and the ability for us. Now, you do have another business that I'm curious about, because I've always, looked into this business. I have 3 daughters and a wife. And I always say, if you ever want to make an emotional connection to a woman, just comment how much you love their purse or their shoes. And you have a luxury handbag rental service, which I got to look into. Maybe it'll save me a ton of money from spending thousands of dollars for a purse they use once or twice. How does that relate back to the community of, the Game Day NFL?
Completely different businesses. You've busted me live on air, and I give you credit for that. Well researched. I think the piece that's interesting with Cocoon, so it's called Cocoon Club. It's a subscription service for handbags. It's £100 a month here in the UK, down to $49 for a month for a smaller selection of the bags. And the idea is not that dissimilar to what we're talking about building communities of like-minded individuals. So your $3 and your wife, there's a group of 4 people who like handbags. They all have different taste. And so we created a collection and bought a collection of handbags. We have almost 1,000 now. And one of our key shareholders is actually one of the largest manufacturers and owners of luxury brands in the world. And they kind of got that there's going to be different ways to consume bags in the future. The way I explain it to people is, I've been around for a while. This is kind of like Netflix 20 years ago, where you had some DVDs at home, you had your collection, you had your neighbor's collection, and some like-minded people at the office, but you also wanted to have a bit of rental. And so you could nip in and out, and that's what Cocoon is. So you can rent a bag on a subscription basis for as long as you like. You can keep that bag, or you can swap bags once a month for free as part of your membership. So the idea, weirdly, sitting in my last.
Oh no.
Bucks a week on a new outfit, I can give them a Chanel handbag for that same amount.
Yeah, it's a great idea, and you got to talk to Tim Draper and I. We both passed up on Netflix early on. We didn't understand what you understand, and I understand it now. It's the exact same business model with an emotional, expensive product like a luxury handbag. Just to finish up, we reach chasm. We start building these communities. What are a lot of people don't talk about the challenges when initially we're trying to build the community, but now we have millions of people. What are some of the issues that you didn't foresee when you have that many people and you have a lot of different opinions and a lot of different requests?
Well, that's what you've hit the nail on the head, because that's the second sort of knuckle in the leg, right? Getting the audience is knuckle one, and then making them an asset rather than a liability is the second piece. And I think, my last business, we actually used to manage like the Olympics channel on YouTube and a lot of the big Vivo channels for Vivo. So the top 20 artists, we manage about half of those. Sony Music, Warner Music, Universal were all clients at one point of time or another. And what we learned was these massive audiences didn't sign up to hate. They signed up because there's a bit of love or curiosity or interest or groups of friends who are also on there. And yes, people do want their voices heard, but generally, if you can empower your community to comment for you and to have that momentum lifting you rather than pushing down on you, it says a lot about the tone of voice of your actual media property. So I don't have actually that much time for some of these people who say I got trolled or ... because the chances are that they probably played some silly games to get those people in the first place, got on the wrong person's radar for the wrong reason, or frankly didn't listen to their constituents, and now they got some grumpy customers. And whether that's people going into the corner shop because their Coca-Cola is not cold and they thought it would be, or somebody trolling you on Facebook, it's not that different. So if you listen to your constituents, you empower them, you let them comment on your behalf. What I've found time and time again is that rising tide raises all boats.
Yeah, you nailed it. Understanding your spectrum and strengthening your signal by being, I call it really the Shakespearean revival that you understand. And it's one, to thine own self be true. And I love the fact that you brought up the nuance of, all the people that are paying for contests and buying followers. They're so surprised when the only people on there are haters. Well, they didn't love you in the first place. Where a community based on empowering others to empower others is what you and I both share, obviously, in our mission. So I love it that we also share a passion for football. It's something that since I was 5 years old, I've been carrying around every day with me. I just wish quantumly I was born with more talent to play it than I actually was. But I certainly I love what you guys do, and I love the sport.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, I hope I had the talent. I just didn't have the size. I was about 50 pounds too light, not 20 or 30, but 50 too light. I'm going to leave you with one more thought.
Please.
Just in terms of those empowered communities, I think one thing that's really interesting is that platforms are now being called out to say, are you actively like deprioritizing sponsored content? And I just can't see, platforms playing whack-a-mole and hiring 30 to 50,000 people to say, take down that Pepsi ad, right? Like I just visually in my head, I just can't imagine, or even tweaking algorithms. Like if it was great content and it had passionate followers and it had great feedback, that sponsored content be the top of everybody's feed.
For sure.
And so I think it rises up beyond, the powers of you or me, and well, I should say me, and then you up the food chain higher, and then the guys who own these platforms way up the top of the food chain. It's just a single battle of relevance on the internet, and if you keep fighting that fight, it's good fun.
Thank you for dropping those nuggets. Great wisdom, helping everybody. Everybody, if you love the NFL, you love football, it's the place to be at the Game Day NFL. My friend Matt Hyman, let's do some more together, my friend. We share so many common interests and perspectives. I love it. And anytime you need to do anything, just reach out. I am of service, and I know so are you. Thank you so much.
Agreed. Thank you.
Right on, Matt. Take care. All right. We are going to jump right into my next friend. And here she is, our special spectator herself. We'll have her join Stephanie Steidel, and she is at Where Tailgate Nation. Oh, nope. How are you?
Hey, David, it's Blake. Good. How are you doing?
Blake Rockwell's here. I was like, that's not Stephanie. That's Blake Rockwell. I'm going to join Stephanie. Stephanie's on too, isn't she somewhere?
She should.
Oh, yeah. There we go. I'll join her as well. We're having a fun technology day with IG, so I got you both on here. There we go. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hey, Stephanie.
Hey. So happy to be here.
Well, I'm happy to have you both. And obviously, I have tied in my purpose, cause, or charity to everything I've done since I've run Lee Steinberg, the sports agency. Stephanie, you're the commerce manager at a company, believe it or not, my brother worked for when he graduated Wharton initially. You'll have to look back into the early 90s, but at General Mills. And Blake, founder and executive director of the Special Spectators. And I'd love, one of you to give me a little bit of background on Special Spectators.
Sure. So Special Spectators, it's hard to believe this is our 20th college football season of creating VIP, all-access game day experiences for seriously ill children and their families at college football games across the country. And we're teaming up with the gang at General Mills Tailgate Nation to really create unforgettable game day experiences for these kids who are battling, any type of life-threatening illness, and their families, just giving them a day away from all of their troubles and putting everything behind them for a day and really just giving them a fun and memorable college football experience.
And, I just want to compliment both of you. I've been blessed as I ran the most notable sports agency in the world to work with several organizations, as we all know, like Make-A-Wish, et cetera, that have very similar types of things. And one of the things that I noticed is that it goes far beyond the child. At times, I think people forget, just like with our military veterans and things, that, it's the entire family that needs it.
Absolutely.
And I'm getting choked up because I've seen so many of these, how much it means to people. And I want Stephanie to thank you and your company, because it wouldn't happen without the corporations. And I know we get a bum rap sometimes about, different corporations and different things that they're doing. This is one of the things I see that is definitely something, as you see a company like General Mills participating in, showing something that really makes a difference. Not just throwing money and saying, 10% of all of our sales goes to, St. Jude Hospital. Look, I'm on the board of advisors of St. Jude. I love St. Jude. But it means something different when you can personally impact an entire family and sometimes a community, because when a young person is sick like that, the entire community is impacted. For the Where Tailgate Nation is, how impactful is that locally? You've been to more of these than anyone. How does it impact that entire community?
Yeah, absolutely. So super happy to be here. So Steph Steidel, I'm the commerce manager at General Mills, and really our Tailgate Nation partnership with ESPN for 3 years now and Special Spectators for 2 years is driven around reminding people that we have some of the most beloved brands that are really easy, fun tailgate components. And we also, as a company, have put a stake in the ground, like you mentioned, of like being this force for good in the world and how that's very important to us. And that is one of our company priorities. And that's something that you'll see going forward. So this partnership with Special Spectators was so perfect for, helping these families during some of their hardest moments to really live this VIP larger than life experience. And we are so, so proud to be a part of that. And I think Blake mentioned, but we have some partnerships with big time college football teams as part of Tailgate Nation. And so we were able to integrate Special Spectators into more college football teams and have it, reach broader than they had in the past by us being a part of this sponsorship and partnership.
And what, Blake, types of things do you provide in this VIP experience? I always said I was blessed to make a lot of money when I was young, but having access was the biggest gift that I ever received. Were the things that I was able to do beyond. It was things that even the richest people on earth couldn't afford or they couldn't pay for, but I had access to do. What are some of those VIP experiences that you're sharing with the family?
So on game day, we host them at our exclusive hospitality area where we feed them pregame. They often get to meet the mascot, the cheerleaders. In some cases, we have a portion of the marching band who will come and perform for the kids, get them revved up for the game. Prior to COVID, we were getting the kids into the locker room, which obviously now with COVID and they want to limit the number of people that are in there, we're not doing that, but we're still getting the kids on the field pregame. They get to watch the guys warm up from just an arm's length away. And then also my favorite element of our game day experience is when we introduce the kids during a media timeout in the stadium. And, thanks to Tailgate Nation, we're in some of the largest stadiums in the country, and being able to introduce these brave kiddos to over 100,000 fans in stadiums like Ohio State and Penn State. And we're going to be in the big house in a couple of weekends at the University of Michigan and at Texas and Alabama. I mean, imagine having 100,000 fans go absolutely nuts for these kids who are being introduced during the timeout. It's an awesome moment.
Well, all of those football teams sound amazing, except for, of course, Michigan, since I'm an Ohio State fan. And Jake's he's a Michigan kid, and I represented Harbaugh at Lee Steinberg for years. And so I'm conflicted. It's specialspectator.org. How can people help Stephanie to join in, with General Mills, with Blake and the organization? How can other people help?
Yeah, so we will have 4 different experiential tailgate experiences with the tiny house on 4 different game days this season. So feel free to swing by if you're on the Iowa, Penn State, Ohio State campuses, because we will be there. And then our promotion is if you buy 4 of our participating brands, I have a couple of them right there, then you get a $50 off at fanatics.com. So it's a pretty solid deal to buy 4 products for your tailgate and then get that $50 Fanatics. And then join us and meet us on those campuses when you're there cheering for your teams.
That is awesome. It's specialspectator.org. Blake, any final thoughts that we can inspire people with?
Well, I would just say join us, look for us on social media. We're Special Spectators on IG, Special Spectators on Facebook. We're Special Fans on Twitter, because we're going to have some great posts about how fans out there can send messages of inspiration and encouragement to all of these kiddos that we host on game day. We will then share those messages in the form of a digital scrapbook with all of the families. So it's a way for game day to live on for these kids, not only that, but to offer some support, when they're having an extra tough day or getting treatment. It's, kids can read all these messages on their mom and dad's tablet or phone. And with that also, we'll have a nice link for how people can learn about all of the Tailgate Nation delicious recipes.
And Blake, we will amplify that on our channels too, because we absolutely want to get the word out about your awesome organization.
Awesome.
And now I can amplify it too with this video. So I appreciate both of you, and I appreciate the fact that you allow us not to take for granted what other people are wishing for. I always tell people, when you're healthy, you get a million wishes. When you're unhealthy, there's only one wish, and let us help those people with those wishes. I appreciate both of you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you,
Thanks so
David.
much.
Yep. Thank you.
SpecialSpectator.org. The best thing you can do, be kind to your future self and do good deeds like Blake and Stephanie and General Mills. Thank you guys so much for utilizing such a great cause and example for all on how we can help people make a lot of money, help a lot of people have a lot of fun. Post it up there, specialspectators.org. Join us in providing all the wishes to come true. Thank you so, so much. We are rocking and rolling. Let me take a few more questions here as I'm trying to figure out what is the most important of exceeding the value you're asking. What's the most importance of exceeding the value you're asking? So I think what you meant to say, Keaton, is what is the importance of being able to articulate a value to exceed what you're asking for? Well, for me, it's the mathematical equation of sharing a vision. If we're capable not only of knowing and practicing and executing, but articulating the value of what we are giving to exceed what we're asking for, then you can ask the ultimate closing question, the ultimate sharing a vision question. Do you see any reason why you wouldn't want to move forward? Because if I can articulate a value to exceed what I'm asking for, then anyone would be able to see why they wouldn't want to move forward. It's a mathematical equation of success in business. You need to get to the point, not just that you know, not just that you execute, but that you articulate. You got to know, execute, and articulate a quantitative value to exceed what you're asking for in order to achieve success. Happy to help you with that. Email me, david@dmeltzer.com. Also, we'll throw in an ebook, audiobook. I will sign my book, send it to you, and pay for shipping. Not a problem. Anyone as well that donates to the specialspectators.org, I will sign a copy of my book for you, send it to you, pay for shipping in the book. We're having more Good News Wednesday, and the good news is I'm still here. Awesome, everybody. It is More Good News Wednesday. Please join me every Wednesday for more good news, like the Special Spectators, like the NFL the game day NFL with Matt Hyatt as well. Thank you so much for everyone joining me. It is Wednesday. There's more good news coming your way. Do not take for granted what other people are wishing for. Most importantly, be kind to your future self and do good deeds. We'll see you.